days later. 56 days since these two last battled for Prem points. Exeter here against Bristol in a monsoon, Sale against Northampton. And on the kind of Saturday afternoon that has you thinking moving to Devon might not be the worst idea in the world. Here we go. Sharks in their chain strip in the purple. Chiefs in the black.
Take him back in.
Exeter side nicely placed to push into the top four between now and the end of the season. They win this, they will leapfrog Bristol and Leicester. And the first take for Paul Brown-Bampo. And the first chug forward for Jack Yendall, the hooker.
Take back into the half.
Tom Hooper, their Wallaby star. Stephen Varney, their Italian star. The bouncing ball delivered by Harvey Skinner. Not ideal, but it was rescued by Brown-Bampo.
Use it.
Varney. Once again, that high kick and the challenge for the ball in the air. And Brown-Bampo's had a very busy start. That one was knocked on, and we'll have our first set piece, the Sale scrum, to come from the knock-on.
Yeah, it was an excellent start from the Chiefs. Stephen Varney, one of the returning internationals, with a great box kick. Paul Brown-Bampo, probably one of the only criticisms of Paul Brown-Bampo is how many of those he gets back. But he won the air in the first one. Unfortunately, the second one turned into a knock-on, but great intent. Contestable box kicking is what wins you that transition to then be able to attack off. And Exeter Chiefs here, 1 out of 2 so far in that department.
So I'm just looking at the field now. You can see the shadows. And I'm surprised that Sale don't want to kick from left to right, because you're sort of in that eye line. That's Sun and Sale, Exeter going to do that right back to them. You're kicking on that right wing for Sale, where Brown-Bampo has been for 2 kicks in a row. That's a difficult one to collect for Aaron Reid.
Pretty engaged.
Anthony Woodthorpe just wants to lay down a few rules and regulations. It's interesting you mentioned the sun, Sam. Both sides, when they came out, when they first arrived, were out in the middle, looking up to the sky, looking up to see where the sun was.
Yes, exactly. You know, when you, as a captain, when you go out for the match, you're looking at, you know, wind, and then if there's wind significant, then you look at, you go to your Thames and your kickers and say, like, what you reckon? You look at the forecast, and you know, we saw it in some of the Six Nations games. Scotland and Murrayfield kicked on France very well, and you can see it here when the sun is fairly low and it's a crystal clear day. You know, it's really hard to collect that ball when it's in the sun. So I imagine on that right flank, Brown-Bampo will be doing a lot of work this first half, trying to put pressure on the Sharks.
Rafi Quirk runs this instead, and Sale through Rob Dupree, playing at fly half today, finds his fullback Joe Carpenter. That was loose, sadly, for a former chief, Tom O'Flaherty, who was once part of the furniture here in Devon, just like Jacques Vermeulen, who's part of the Sale pack today. Happy memories, less so of that right then.
Yeah, it's the stock sort of standard play off a scrum from deep that you try and run yourself out of it, especially when the sun's out. The ball goes from good width from 9 to 12, you go out the back to the 10. Unfortunately there, Tom O'Flaherty with a knock-on, but great to see Sale with a little bit of ambition. It would be easy to just think, let's just whack the ball as far as we can, but they've attempted to try and run the ball out, which I will always be an advocate for, Sam.
If the space is there, definitely go for it. I think it's a bit of, you know, this sort of rugby cliche, earn the right, you know, to go wide by going forward first. I kind of disagree with that. I'm like, if the space is there, then take it. I think it's a bit of a cliche that we need to remove from rugby, and I like it from the Sharks. If it's there, go for it.
Surprised the defence that's expecting the kick, maybe, and this time it is Exeter and Campbell Riddle, and the ball finds its way out to Ross Vincent, and Vincent finds Varney. How about that? Rob Baxter's instruction pre-match was get back on the horse quickly. Chiefs are in the saddle. What a start.
They're absolutely saddled up. That is a set-piece play that has worked absolutely perfectly. They've got the left-hand side scrum. They go open, and you'll see some subtlety. You'll just see some very clever Exeter Chiefs front rowers just laying on top of the Sale Sharks front row to create that space where they would be The flat ball across to Vincent, inside to Varney, doing what every scrum half should do, chasing up on the inside. Absolutely brilliant start for the Chiefs.
Stephen Varney's 5th minute try, Chiefs' 2nd fastest of the season, not quite as quick as Manny Feo-Aboso's against Saints earlier in the season. Feo-Aboso, by the way, not far away from full fitness, he's training. Henry Slade could not add the extras, however, 5 gone, Chiefs 5 ahead.
You can see Ben Bamba there is trying to get back on side. It's hard when you've just been scrummaging, you've emptied the tank in the scrum, you come back up, and Vincent, who's probably the quickest forward on the field, is holding that touchline for a reason so we can use his gas. But they come straight back down the blind side, they catch those lazy defenders. It's a well-executed try.
A couple of Italians in the middle of all that. Ross Vincent, Stephen Varney. Varney, who was injured at the start of the Six Nations, he missed that big bit of Roman history against England when he was playing towards the end last weekend in Cardiff. Vincent injured for the entirety of the championships, but he's back for his club today. And Varney's next job is to launch high into the blue Devon sky, and a decent chase from Brown Bampo.
Clearly come off with both hands.
This is the captain, Ernst van Rijn, playing in the 2nd row today, ability to play in the back row as well, the big South African from Cape Town. Quirk spent some time with England during the Six Nations, came in when Alex Mitchell was injured. Dan Bampo again, off his feet. Van Rijn again, De Preer, and this is Carpenter. Wonderful step to find a little bit of space. Kick was covered by Ollie Woodburn. Woodburn back after rested for the Prem Cup final last weekend, and a little banana kick that did not go entirely to plan for Rob De Preer outside the 22, so it has to bounce first, and it didn't.
From a kick battle perspective, that's a big win for Exeter. Sale had that ball on their 10-metre line, so Exeter just being patient, just returning that ball back, and now they've got the ball on the 10-metre line that Sale initially started the kick, so you can see that's a good win for Exeter Chiefs.
Varney, Slade testing the defensive work of Jacques Vermeulen, his former Chiefs teammate, Skinner, and this is Greg Fisselout. One of those players bobbling around the England squad during the Six Nations that many would have liked to have seen in the 23 at least. It's never got to go in anger, but a big, hefty ball carrier, as you've just seen. This is Pachuki Chumbadze, hugely impressive Georgian. Exeter penalty going against Sam Dugdale, who was playing the ball off his feet.
Be on your feet. Not for me. I haven't got one.
Chiefs have had 6 days to sort themselves out after being blown away in that Prem Cup final at Leicester. Rob Baxter talking about the slap in the face and how important it'll be not to be slapped again.
Ocean fellas.
21 points down after 15 minutes last Sunday, the physical, the mental test.
Shot called.
And Baxter saying the first few minutes key, get back up to Prem intensity, Prem speed as quickly as you can, and they seem to have done that.
Yeah, they do, and it's very interesting to see an early shot on goal here, just to take them up over that.
As long as he's on his feet, yeah, he's got to be on his
full
feet.
7 points advantage, to take them 8 points up with Henry Slade's left boot. So secure for Exeter, but yeah, incredibly key for Exeter to bounce back. You know, they picked a lot of younger players last week in the cup final. Maybe a little of a nod to say just how important Rob Baxter and the Chiefs think the Gallagher PREM is this year to get into those playoffs.
Nobody scored more points in the Gallagher PREM than
22.
Henry Slade so far this season.
22.
He waits to add to that. A couple of missed kicks now. That one a little bit less forgivable than the first one. And you can see the anger on his face.
Behind the ball.
There, didn't I?
I do like the decision for 3, though. You're right, Danny. It sort of builds that score to 8, and it was quite a cheap 3. You know, they from a line out, few phases, get 3 points. I understand it when people build up, they win a scrum penalty, another penalty, they go multi-phase, then want to go for gold. That's a cheap 3. I thought it was the right decision to take it.
Here's Riddle, released smartly by Harvey Skinner. Riddle, one of the emerging stars for Exeter this season. Fisselout. did all of the training, but he remains uncapped from a test match perspective. Greg Fisselau is Chumbadze, back from some time with Georgia in the Rugby Europe Championship. Lost in the final to Portugal. Fisselau nicely away to Yendall. Sail offside. Number 5 is Ben Bamba, and here's Riddle. Just a little obstruction perhaps from Rob Dupre. Riddle still chasing, he very nearly got there. Couldn't have been much harder to get that close, but the speed of Riddle took him there.
Yeah, it all came from a little bit of magic from Greg Fisselau, just a little no-looker out that back to Jack Yendall.
5 is the guard offside.
And for me, yeah, it can only be a matter of time when I see Greg Fisselau in an international shirt. Sometimes you just see players, you look at the way they play and the way they move, and you think he is absolutely destined to play at the top. And, you know, maybe this summer in the Test series that England have got, then he gets that opportunity. But he's looking trim, he's looking sharp, he looks almost better for having those 6-7 weeks training in with Steve Borthwick and with the England players, and he'll be a better player for it coming back for his club now.
Yeah, England with 3 summer tests in July, away to the world champions in Johannesburg, and then they play Fiji at Everton's football ground, and then they go to Argentina, to Santiago.
Come.
Yendall for Exeter. We already have the first try of the match, and Zambonin, who was an absolute star for Italy in the Six Nations. Vincent lays it back, Riddle, lovely feed, scores. Goodness me, he left Tomo Flaherty, poor old Tomo Flaherty, flat on his face. Fast feet, Cam Riddle.
Well, if this was football, that's 2 assists for Vincent already. I think because he's such a great ball carrier for Exeter, he sort of comes off and you think he's going to be that main carrier from the line out. So the ball gets to Vincent now. Probably a little bit guilty of expecting that. They doubled up on him, expecting that he's going to carry forward. He puts a lovely ball inside, just picking out the back of that line out. As Jabulu over chases slightly. If you're the tail gunner of that line out, your job is to take the first threat, whoever that may be. Not the first ball receiver, the first threat. Could be a lazy runner as a winger like Riddle just displayed, but just over chase slightly. Probably just thought that Vincent was just going to smash it up. But lovely hands again from that man.
Saw Henry Slade just shielding his eyes against the sun for as long as he could. And did its job, and then did the left boot as well. 12-0.
Yeah, Exeter Chiefs 2 from 2 in set-piece plays. You see the subtlety. There is the inside ball to Varney, but there's the double inside ball, which I think just catches Nathan Jabulu unaware. And what wonderful feet. He's a big old boy, Campbell Riddle, as well. With a bright future, he moves well, he chases well, he finishes incredibly well.
Already England under 20 caps.
Outside.
21 now.
Take him back in. Inside now.
Chumbadze.
Use it. 9.
Stephen Varney giving that a lot. Dupre, or rather Carpenter. Not an awful lot's going right for Sale at the moment. Another penalty conceded on the floor.
Holding on.
Hooper's had a good start to this game. Really solid over that ball there. I think you could hear the fans chanting Hoop. It wasn't booing, it was Hoop. And he's been elusive already, getting his hands on the ball, carries hard. He sort of fills that void that Vermeulen left. And what I like about Exeter, they've always had that enforcer as a 6, and I've really liked that style that they play when they're at their best. Exeter, they have that real physical spine through their pack, and Hooper's deceptively big man. You know, when you see him up close, he could probably play a game in the second row, but he's had a big start to this game and playing that role very well.
Well, you can see him standing next to Dav Jenkins, who is sizable, and he doesn't give much away. Both of those now involving themselves in this attacking line-out, which went to the front and to Hooper. Skinner, Slade, oh, he held on to it nicely. It's rather overcommitted, Marius Lowe. Skinner again, lovely Hooper. This is brilliant. Thought about the spectacular one-handed offload, felt that it was not worth it. And Skinner resets and makes a metre or two. Varney's there, and this time Sale do their job over the ball.
Lifting it, and you're not letting go of it. If you let go, he takes the ball.
And it was Sam Dugdale who got there first and stayed there.
Oh, Dugdale bailed him out really well there. Those turnovers are goal dust in your 22, and it's because he's up against two wingers. It was Woodburn, I believe, and Riddle who couldn't get rid of him. And when you get a 7 over that ball, that's why he is a back 3. When you're looking at wingers, you've got to respect every single aspect of play. And look, Dugdale goes in, two wingers try and clear him out. They missed the first clear out. If you miss the first clear out and you can survive that as a jackler, he's just going to get strong over that ball. Can't get rid of him. Really good jackal because two men are on him. But wingers and back 3's got to be red hot securing that ball.
Contact in the air affects the delivery.
It's actually worth saying that we're watching two teams today who have poached the fewest turnovers this season. Having a chat with Sale's new old defence coach Mike Forshaw, who's back looking after the defence again before the match, and he says he's not sure whether that's by design. He wasn't here for much of this season, but it's certainly something they'd like to change. So Dugdale and the players they'll have coming back, the Currys, Luke Cow and Dickey, they've got some good jacklers.
I was going to say, that surprised me, Nick, with the fact that there's two Currys in this team, and Luke Cow and Dickey loves to put his head over the ball. That is a surprising stat, but yeah, Dugdale with a brilliant one there, just managed them to get out of their own half and try and keep Exeter down this end of the pitch.
Riddle to Woodburn to Brown Bampo, who makes brilliant ground, and Woodburn wasn't far away from reconnecting again, but not forwards. The applause for the effort, but Sale will have the scrum on halfway.
Yeah, perfect opportunity here, Nick. Obviously, the little Brown Bampo, look, this is how powerful he is. Beats 3 or 4 defenders. Unfortunately, just tries to throw the offload to Ollie Woodburn. It's potentially not on, just gets knocked down from his hands.
Yeah, that's fine there.
Knock on there, but what an opportunity now for Sale. Dry ball, middle of the pitch. Ollie Woodburn with an acre to have to defend in the backfield, so there has to be space somewhere. Be interesting to see which way Sale go. They've got 2 in behind, they've stacked 3 on the left. O'Flaherty with a mountain of space here out on the right. With someone like Rathy Quirk's pace, this is where I'd love to see him testing the defenders, testing the inside to create some space on the outside.
I know Danny will be keeping a close eye on Rathy Quirk and his options here. First things first, it's a solid enough scrum. In fact, it's won a penalty, so this free ball, and Lowe just lays it out of the back, and the ball released away to the flying Aaron Reid, and Sale asking some questions for the first time. Quirk keeps them going. Rob Dupree finds space. Bamba, and then this is Jabulu. He didn't think that it was on away to the right-hand side. It might be now. Dupree, and that's really nicely done, or it might have been, but Ollie Woodburn got in the way. But Dan Dupree and his brother involved in setting up the best opportunity so far for Sale.
Oh, if you could have a player come on Alex Sanderson, I'm sure he is pulling those last few hairs out, because what a brilliant play down the left-hand side. They keep the ball alive. Exeter Chiefs are at 6s and 7s here, trying to get Nathan Jabulu, my old Harlequins teammate. Give that ball to Sam Dugdale. Tom O'Flaherty here on the wing waiting for it. Then this is where you need composure. This is where the best teams don't force that offload. Ollie Woodburn does brilliantly to get in the passing channel. I think it probably should be a scrum to Sale, because I think he's knocked it back into his own in goal, but we'll see what the referee says. But
well, the bloke with the best view right now is Ben Kay, who is down on the touchline. Let's have a look at this through your eyes, Ben, this scrum.
I'm a little bit close for my liking, Nick. It's a scary prospect. Big rest for Exeter, which might help them a little bit. Obviously, as Sale, they're not going to want to give away the field position easily, but they're going to attack slightly more. It'll depend whether they can, which shoulder they can get up. So if you look on the far side, Simon McIntyre, he'll be trying to drive as straight as he can, as will Harper on this side. Scott Seo up against him. Let's have a look as they go in. Who wins that hit? Feet quite far back for Harper. Now there's a slight bit of left shoulder there, which means Rafi Quirk's going to have a little look. They're trying to take him on. They might have to pick. It's got caught up in the in the tunnel, never came out.
Going forward first.
We're going to have another look. Fill the lungs back up with oxygen. So hard this. When it's not moving anywhere, it's a different sort of fitness from running around. Your legs start filling up. Sam and I were talking pre-match about that feeling when you get up from a bout of scrums. You've been working this hard and you almost feel like your legs are jelly. So they're filling the lungs with as much oxygen as they can. They've got another maximal effort to go through here. You see Rob Dupree just having a little look at the defence in front of him. He's got O'Flaherty there, his brother at the back of the scrum.
Wingers on the stab. Bind.
Scott see a little bit of jostling position for the heads there. Matthew Quirk puts it in, it's not moving anywhere, they're going to have to play this.
Quirk low offered himself, instead it was O'Flaherty coming in off the wing, driving it that close. Jacques Vermeulen goes in to help try to lever the ball away.
11 offside. 11 halfway up the ruck.
Campbell Riddle needed to stay behind the hindmost foot in that ruck, the rear
11.
foot, and he didn't. That's the reason for the penalty.
There.
And they're going to go for tap and go. Quirk in charge. This is Jabulu waltzing his way towards the line. Quirk
Advantage
once
offside.
more, again Chiefs offside. Quirk gives it some air on the bounce to Reed. Now his fast feet. What about the strength? Looks like he's been turned up to the line, but not able to get the ball down. And I think it was Ollie Woodburn who was there, Brown Bampo as well.
Here's the mark. That's 2 offside penalties.
Which might mean we're getting closer to a yellow card. We're certainly getting closer to a Sale try, or at least Nathan Jabulu and his mates will hope so.
Let it go.
Tom O'Flaherty clear on this right-hand side. Aaron Reed away to the left, but for the time being, it's the muscle men. Another penalty. How many more of these before a yellow card? At least the lecture on the way.
You're on the floor, then you rip the ball. You're on a warning now. Okay, discipline. 2 offsides. Yeah, you have time. 2 offsides, and then he rips the ball. Yeah. They're on a warning. They're just speaking to their players.
Chiefs actually won't mind this breather.
Yeah, that's fine.
Defensively, they've been working hard over the last 60 seconds or so.
Yes, time's up.
David Jenkins, happily part of Wales' first Six Nations win in 3 years last Saturday against Italy.
You can? Okay.
Wales and Italy reunited in the Chiefs' second row today. Jenkins and Andrea Zambanin.
Time is off. Let's go. Get ready.
Zambanin, who was part and parcel of all that was very good about Italy over the course of the last couple of months. Here we go again. And this time it's Jabulu, cuts out the middleman, very nearly gets the job done. Dan Dupree ready to give it another short-range blast. Ernst van Rijn goes in, the captain. He gives it a go and he finds the gap. Gets low enough, under the shoulders, and Sale, after a lot of hard, close-range work, get their reward.
See, that's a good example where even though some teams, not many these days, might have taken the 3, Sale have done so much good work. When you think of that first play they had from the scrum, which got them the field position, then they backed up a couple of scrums, and then they've won 2 or 3 penalties. It feels like you're in that all-in mode. We have to come back with at least 5, hopefully 7 points. There was nothing too flashy about it. Just get the big ball carries on the ball. You can see there's some support on him as well. That's a good carry because he's gone into 2 defenders on his own there. Normally there was latches on in the carries before, but he'd done that all by himself. A solid try, back in the game.
Just worth reminding everyone of what the Gallagher PREM table looks like at the moment. Bath have gone back to the top ahead of Northampton after that hefty, very impressive win against Saracens last night. Right now, Sale are down in 7th. They've got 20 points, 16 points behind Leicester in 4th. And that's the big gap if Sale are to launch the latest of late bids and most spectacular bids for the playoffs. They've turned it into an art over the last few seasons. It's nearing miracle proportions this season, but we will see. Van Rijn. Going to have a chat with Joe Ford, Sale's head coach, next time the ball goes dead. Joe will be buoyed by the last 3 or 4 minutes. Quirk's clearance. Woodburn was underneath it. Taken by Jabulu. We will take the knock on. So let's have a chat with Joe Ford. What are the good things you're seeing, Joe? What did you talk about this week up at the training base in Carrington that you're seeing put out on the pitch?
Yeah, not much in that start really. And then we talked around them obviously having a big pack, so we want to try and move them about as we did from that scrum, which got us the 22 entry. So yeah, if we can just start to get parity in the physical battle, we'll be able to move the ball a little bit more than we have done so far.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Sale eager to move the ball around, move that big pack around, and Asi Raketi-White. This is Reed. Actually, Raketi-White has 3 names. I didn't necessarily get them in the right order there, but you knew who I meant. Sorry, Raketi. Tomo Flaherty tries to burst his way through. This is Dan Dupree. The offload to Reed, who wasn't ready for it, but because Shumbadza was offside, Sale have the penalty.
Joe's absolutely right, isn't he? If you win those collisions, he obviously can manufacture a good first phase from good running lines and deception, but that's a good example of Sale have gone forward 3 or 4 times, and it's easy to say, oh, they just give away penalties, but why? It's because Sale are dominant in the contact area, so it means you might chase the ball that you shouldn't chase, or you might get caught offside. It's good play.
Well, Ben was our scrum correspondent, now he's our line-out correspondent all of a sudden.
Much more excited about this one, Nick. And Nathan Jabulu's just come in, he's got the ball, just making sure he gets rid of all the sweat off his hands. Obviously, quite an athletic defensive line-out that Exeter have. Zambanin in the middle, a real roamer. So you'd expect, just looking there, you can see the pointing of the hands, just checking where the big threats are. So Bamba comes forward, he's going to come to the front away from those threats. Now it's all about getting the body height low. A little bit high from Sale. They'll work to get that a little bit lower. And then Jabulu's eyes are up. He's looking at when Varney comes in. He's also looking at the touchline. Now he has to change his mind because they're getting too close and Rafi Quirk wants it. Hooper just gets through on him.
He's gone through onto the ball for me.
Flaherty in front of Ben, and the backs may be soon to get their go. In the meantime, Dugdale still keeping it tight. Cy McIntyre a little bit further out. This is Dupree, Dan Dupree. And then low. Not a great deal of room for error here. Van Rijn
on the shoulder.
Scored the try that got Sharks right back into this. Jabulu. Pulled down by Jenkins. Chumbadza. And then Dupree. And Marcy White, that went forwards.
We both called it forward.
Worth underlining that in terms of tries conceded, and I guess that's the only number that really counts, Chiefs defence so far this Gallagher PREM season, the best in the league.
But it was a smart line-out defence. Benny was talking about it then, but what Exeter did, they stacked Dav Jenkins and Zambin in, middle and the back, because you don't want to concede the ball at the back of the line-out. It's a really hard drive to defend from. So because they forced Sale to the front, so they didn't want to jump opposite Dav Jenkins or Zambin in, they all stayed down, and then you could all just maul. So they forced them to the front, easiest place to defend. Hooper does well there to climb through and make a mess of it, but it's good defence from Exeter. Really good carrying actually from Sale, and their clear out was really good. You thought they'd get momentum, just that forward pass, they were actually building some good momentum, but good discipline this time round in the 22 from Exeter. The giveaway.
Too much weight, loads of weight. Yeah. Him especially, loads of weight. Then through them up.
Too much weight too soon.
I think what's also impressive, Nick, is they were on a warning, so the next penalty on their own line would have been a yellow card. But to defend like that, to hold Sale out with how much power Sale possess, and then get an exit like that, push them back to your 10-metre line, it's a great little win there for Exeter.
Scott Seo, covered from a training injury to slot back in. Bamba, Quirk, Dupree. Behind Vermeulen to Lowe. And sadly for Sale, Sam Dugdale, who got himself in the way of any potential tacklers.
Really good line speed from Henry Slade. He's just got the ball now. He's going to try and get a good advantage now. But I just felt, I saw it straight away. They played off the line out, and Exeter absolutely flew up. And the penalties against Dugdale for getting in front, we're going to have a look at it once this ball reaches touch. But it's really good line speed, and line speed alone can just force pressure. Here we have a look at it. Just keep an eye on Exeter's line. They're all on the edge of their seats. They fly up. Henry Slade gets a well. There's a lot of space outside, but it's going to take a brave Sale team to go 2 free passes. They do really well. Dugdale just overruns it, but Slade's in the eye line. Really good line speed, just showing how it does force errors, just having line speed alone.
It wasn't the best of kicks from Henry Slade. The Saracens will attest to from that semi-final 100 years ago. However, it's still Chiefs' ball to play with, and oh, he did really well. Harvey Skinner, and still Brown Bampo, and still Chiefs that close. Chumbadza, Varney, beyond Fisilau, quick hands, and the strike scored by Woodburn.
We go formal. Time off. We'll just time off. So we've got a grounding, so on-field try. Yeah, but that's what we're checking. So on-field try. I believe it was not backwards by Sale. Yeah. So we'll just have a formal review of that. Absolutely. Okay.
Here it comes, Woody.
Okay, just
Dean Richards, the TMO.
So just checking whether or not there was a knock-on or if it was not backwards by Sale. On for the decision, we just tried because we've got grounding here. Just check it out.
So it was not backwards by Dupree.
It looks like it's off 10, but does it then touch 13?
Did Henry Slade get a thumbprint on that, maybe?
I don't think he did. Initially, I thought it may have been a knock-on.
10, doesn't touch black 12.
12, so
But
it's
has
13,
been
you mean? So
confirmed
you're happy
there by
that it's come off
TMO,
red
no.
10 backwards, but doesn't
Yeah.
touch 13.
Correct.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Cool, okay.
Anthony Wood thought double-checking with Dean Richards before a big blow on the whistle and the try confirmed.
Yeah, try confirming. Even more frustrating for Sale. They had a line out in Exeter Chiefs, 10-metre line, and then a little bit of a timing issue, which is very frustrating, I'm sure, for Joe Ford, which has then led to field position for Exeter. And Henry Slade almost on the line break coming through, and then so hard to defend when you're on your own line. Henry Slade here with an opportunity to take Exeter 12 points ahead.
Half an hour gone down here at Sandy Park. Exeter 19, Sale 7. The Chiefs with 3 tries now.
Good hands again from, it was Hooper, I believe, who delivered the assist pass there. Lovely hands to Woodburn. That's Vincent and Hooper now, both in the back row, having assists in all 3 tries. Looks simple, but just nice and composed when they're in the red zone.
Tom Hooper returning from injury to help try to angle Exeter towards the playoffs. He was injured in the last Premiership game against Bristol at the end of January. Chiefs missing Ethan Roots, by the way, for up to 6 weeks. He's got a calf problem, which the club told us about this week. So Tom Hooper and his mates will be busy. Ooh, Jabulu goes long and spectacularly long.
Not straight.
And spectacularly not straight.
It's one of them when you stood over a golf ball. There's a big win from right to left. You think
So
we're going
not
to hit
straight,
it out in
must
there,
be
and it's going to
straight,
come
but it
back.
goes over the 15.
Unfortunately, in rugby, in line-out
Still
throw,
chosen.
you cannot do that. So,
And 500 people behind you are allowed to cheer at like a golf shot as well, which I think brought it to the referee's attention even more.
On the way up to the East Midlands tomorrow for the final game of the Gallagher PREM weekend. Leicester and Bristol in the thick of the playoff conversation. We've got that match on TNT 1 at 2:30. A reminder that if Exeter win today, they will go above those 2 into the playoffs. Sale win. They're rather marooned in 7th at the moment. 12 points behind Sarries in 6th, but Maybe a win today would help that cause. At the moment, it is Chiefs in charge. Skinner, Slade, and then Woodburn, and Riddle went forwards.
Yeah, it's a nice little set-up play where they're trying to get the ball into Campbell Riddle's hands with some space, because he's such a dangerous player, unfortunately. Just drifted forward, and these are really important minutes just before the end of the first half. You always say the end of the first half, the start of the second can make or break the result.
Let's build, please.
By the way, if you like your bikes, let us take you to Brazil after this brand new MotoGP season underway. The sprint race this evening, all the fun of the fair on TNT2, then the Grand Prix tomorrow. And a reminder that on Thursday, TNT Sports moves from Discovery Plus to our new streaming home on HBO Max. Not just the sport you'll get, but all of those brilliant HBO shows from down the years, the series, the movies, Game of Thrones, The Wire, Friends, one of Sam's favourites.
Right.
Who's your favourite friend?
Sorry, do you know what? I missed that, lads. I was looking at the backfield.
You weren't watching rugby, were you?
I heard Varney saying eyes Riddler, so I was like, what's he looking at? So sorry, Nick, I missed what the promos were. I was focusing on the back three.
That'll never. You were focusing on the rugby, which is something that'll never catch on when you're working with me and Danny.
Oh, yeah.
Favourite Friends character?
Oh, favourite Friends. I actually met Joey Tribbiani. I was in a lift in London. We were about to go away with the Lions, actually, and Joey Tribbiani walked in.
Drop that in,
Yeah, sorry, Danny. He was about to go for a run in Hyde Park, and I was too nervous to say anything. I was about 1 foot away from him. It was brilliant.
Danny?
Big Ross fan.
Big Ross.
Big Ross Gallagher fan.
Chandler for me.
Bind.
Soft spot for Rachel, obviously. Anyway, enough of this nonsense. You can watch it all on HBO from Thursday. Sam can watch the rugby, which is probably what most of you want to watch at the moment. Here we go. And Rob de Pree and Quirk offering some support, and nice from O'Flaherty up until that moment, and Brown Bampo brings it away, and O'Flaherty gets it back, not for long. Anyway, back to Friends.
Gunther, great character, underrated, but when used, brilliant every single time.
I'm that Sado, actually, who loves Friends. I used to watch it when I went home from school, then I watch it on +1, the same 2 episodes, so I am a massive Friends fan.
I never knew this. Conversations you never thought you'd have on a Saturday afternoon. Anyway, you know the score. You know where to go on Thursday.
Let's build, come on.
Into the final 5 minutes of the first half that have seen tries for Stephen Varney, Cam Riddle and Ollie Woodburn for the Chiefs, and Hans van Rijn for Sale. Ninth scrum of the match so far. Skinner spins it to Slade, and now goes Riddle again. He's got some space to move into. Also had Joe Carpenter to beat, and Tom O'Flaherty as well, and those two in the end did their job. Forced Riddle to hold on to the ball longer than he should have done.
Oh, see, that's a proper jackal, Nick. The reason I love that is Carpenter was over that ball, and watch the run-up. I think it was Slade. So Carpenter goes over the ball. Keep your eyes on Slade. So he passes the ball there. Look at the run-up that Slade has to clear this out. So he's got a 20-metre run-up. Carpenter goes in. Slade hits him, and Carpenter's just rock solid. Really good jackal. When I look at a jackal, I think, did he survive a clear-out? And Slade's bringing some momentum there. You probably watch that back in the week and think he could have done a better job, but really strong stuff from Carpenter.
Yeah.
In 12, you could play him at 15 as well. That adds some great balance to that Sale midfield.
That's how things look at the moment. Worth underlining that Sale are losing Rob de Pree. He's heading to the top 14, and Bayonne, he will take some replacing.
Over 15. Sorry.
There's Assi White. Quirk, handy position this for Sale as we bear down on half-time. Dan de Pree helping to spread that wide. Flaherty involved once more. Now Van Rijn, the try scorer. Rob de Pree, it was asking a lot of Jacques Vermeulen, but it's picked up by the speedy Reed. He runs into Hooper. Hooper back on his feet quickly, fighting away for the space over that ball. Oh, low, nicely done. Offered to pass and then brought it back in.
Onside.
Dan Dupree, who'll be a Bath player next season. That's a reasonable signing.
Oh, there. Onside.
Everyone onside because the ball was knocked back, but
Thank you.
Hooper gathering nicely, and then the kick will cheer the Sandy Park locals. No, not quite. He seems to have properly found himself this season, Harvey Skinner. It looks like he thinks he finally belongs in that shirt.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think he's been brilliant this year. Both attack and defence. He's a big boy, he puts his body on the line. But again, another just brilliant bit of skill from Tom Hooper. I've been so impressed with him this year in the Gallagher PREM. Obviously come back from an injury now, but he'll have a massive say as to where Exeter Chiefs finish come the end of this season.
Yeah, fans are booing because it's not a 50-22, because it was charged down and the kick was charged down in the Sale Sharks half. It was technically taken back in by Exeter Chiefs, but Tom Hooper, as you said, did really well to clear it up, but fans didn't get that intel. We can hear the referees, Mike, if you didn't hear it at home, but it was signalled in from the ARs. Good spot.
Quirk's kick. Again, Brown Bampo doing what he's done most of this half when he's not been running with the ball, jumping for it. Vincent.
Let it go.
Central to
Jack, you pinned him. Let him go, please.
Chiefs tries so far.
Take it back into the half.
Varney again. Brown Bampo.
Knock
Brown
on
Bampo
by
got there
Exeter,
first, but it was
Ivanic.
knocked on. So Dupree and Sale
Still
will have the
under
advantage
under
here.
pressure.
What's Marius Lower have on his mind? Oh, brilliantly taken by Reed, but it went forwards. However, we were playing the advantage.
It's forward pass, but we're playing advantage. Sorry?
2 passes advantage,
Yeah, thank you. No, it's air ball. Knock on advantage.
It's 5 metres further forward, Woody.
Okay, let's go. Your ball, last play. Their ball, last play. Play knock on advantage. They've gone back about 20 minutes.
So it's Sale's ball here. What do you do, boys? Do you head in for your half-time orange, or do you give it a blast?
I saw Sam nodding his head.
Well, the first thing I'm doing is looking at what Exeter's backline is doing. So I'm looking at what's Riddle. So Riddle's gone right back. So he's actually given them an edge, if that makes sense. If he's up flat, then he thinks they're going to play. So because Riddle's gone back, and you see the bottom right of your screen, it might give Sale, if Rob Dupree looks at it, he might go, you know what, let's take that edge. But they might be conservative and kick it out. Let's see.
There's also an argument Sale will have the sun advantage in the second half, so maybe they could use that. Do they bank their chips here? Do they not risk something? They're going to play it. Oh, no.
Give it a go. They've lost it. They might live to regret that big time. Here's Will Rigg. Varney, Slade, and that's gone forwards, and that will bring the first half to its conclusion. A half of 4 tries. First 2 of which were scored by the hosts, Exeter, Stephen Varney, and then, thanks Hugo, Ross Vincent, who has been one of Exeter's stars in the first 40. Tom Hooper's played well. Harvey Skinner's moved them around nicely. But Sale still been winning England A caps this season. Chiefs in the black, Sharks in the maroon. The scrum half is Rafi Quirk, on the bus with so many others to Newcastle over the summer. Aaron Reed clattered by a airborne Ollie Woodburn, and Woodburn, while he was in the air, knocked the ball on, and they'll have another scrum. Just about okay.
Let's go, boys.
Josh Hodge, by the way, who played pretty well in the Prem Cup final last weekend. Another who's on his way to Newcastle has a head injury. Tommy Wyatt recovering from the long-term ACL, which is why Ollie Woodburn's playing more and more at fullback. It's his 5th Premiership start in that position this season, winger turned fullback. Now it's Chiefs' turn to shield their eyes in this half.
Yeah, you can see Ollie Woodburn there just trying to block out the sun. I wonder whether Sale and Rob Dupree might look to use that to their advantage this half. 12 points isn't a lot in Gallagher PREM. If that's anything we've learned this season, that can be taken in a couple of minutes.
Dupree picks up the ball. Van Rijn, scorer of Sharks.
And use it.
One try so far in this match. What are you pointing at, Danny?
Just the fact, yeah, they've gone to the box kick, which is great. It's a brilliant kick from Rafi Quirk, and they've got something off it. So yeah, great decision.
Yeah, picked up by Marius Lowe. And Exeter not clearing out the tackle area quickly enough. So Quirk takes that advantage as a free kick. Lowe.
Backwards.
Ball went backwards, and this is Dugdale. Very nearly through. Yendall had to be on his toes, and he was. Otherwise, Dugdale would have scored. Sharks making the sharpest of starts to this second half. Clear out from Van Rijn. Vincent leading the defensive effort. Van Rijn once more. Keeps it tight. Claustrophobic. Jabulu senses something. Really important tackles that close to the line, and Sharks once again from close range, rolling up the sleeves. Bamba's shielding the ball from Jabulu, so he has to go digging, and that's gone forwards. Oh, the look of consternation on the face, firstly of Ernst van Rijn and then Alex Sanderson.
Oh, myself as well. There's so much space out wide. The Sale Sharks backs are screaming for the ball, and the forwards obviously keep it really tight. Go for the line. Obviously scored one earlier here, but you have to look after the ball there. Fortunately, Knock and all started with a brilliant quick tap from Rafi Quirk, just adding a little bit of tempo. I caught up with him before the game, and he said he's going to try. He's going to try some. He's going to run the ball around, which is what you have to do with this big pack. Against Exeter Chiefs, you have to play with some tempo to tire them out, but a bit of execution there, Sam.
There's phases in the opposition, 22, that sums it up really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it shows they've been nowhere near as efficient as Exeter, and you're absolutely right, Danny, with the space. I was counting the Exeter defenders when Sale were picking a gun on their line. They must have had 11 or 12 players within a maybe 12-metre, 15-metre max sort of span. So much space out wide, and Sale had men on their feet. They'll be watching that one back on the tape on Monday and cursing themselves for not taking the kick to the edge.
Defensive Exeter scrub, and the Sale shove comes on. They've done brilliantly. They have pushed Exeter off the ball. Dan Dupree picks it up, waltzes in, scores.
What a scrum. That's a way to make up for it when you've made an error. That was a monstrous scrum on the opposition line. I do find when you get a scrum in that position, there's one you can go for it. Ball comes in on the other side, and as soon as that ball comes in and Varney releases that ball, all Sale players can snap, and that's being called in from Dugdale, who's on the open side. And when you get that perfectly all in sync, all 8 players snap, you go through a load of weight going through that Exeter pack. Fantastic scrum.
Well, that was something else, and it is converted by Rob Dupree.
When you're ready.
His brother and he have helped pull the Sharks to within 5. Front of Zambanin. Yendall too far away, so Woodburn sorts things out. Here's Rigg, who'll be a Newcastle player next season. Zambanin. Rob Baxter has the headphones on. We're going to have a chat with Rob in a minute or two. Seo rumbles over halfway. And Slade, nicely done by Skinner. Woodburn finding Brown Bampo. Brown Bampo staying on his feet well. Chumbadza takes on Jabulu and still goes and takes on more. This time Harper. Skinner and Slade. Defence up quickly, led by Lowe. Slade skipped around it, but had to concede a metre or two, but not possession, which Varney threads through, looking for the touchline, and he finds it. First things first, Rob, that scrum was a little bit alarming, the one that led to the Sharks try just now.
Who do you need?
Yeah, more than a bit alarming. I mean, that kind of entails kind of final third, and all of a sudden we're defending in our third, and we've done that again, 2 or 3 bits of sloppy play, and all of a sudden it's 5 minutes scrum time, and I think we can just take way more control of the middle third than we're doing at the moment. Hopefully that part of the game will step up, and that's ultimately what will give us control of the game.
Just a quick word on those replacements. Scott Seo and Bachuki Chumbadze are replaced by Will Goodrick Clark and Jimmy Roots. Had that been planned earlier, or is that a direct result of the try you've just conceded?
Oh no, I don't mind admitting that's pretty much, well, it's got to be a direct result of that, because we just didn't look competitive at all in that scrum. But at the same time, I would say that's not completely the fault of the front row. You know, the whole 8 there didn't get in behind a scrummage. We kind of looked a bit passive, looked like we were going to manage a scrum, and you just can't do that against Sale.
Thanks, Rob. We'll let you get back to it.
Thanks very much.
I thought he's got through onto the ball fine when he hit the ground.
The Chiefs have another scrum
with
2 new props to just throw a bit of concrete down if they can.
Yeah, great opportunity now to right the wrongs from a few minutes ago. But I've now said it wasn't their fault, but it kind of was, so they're off.
Doing his lace as well. Doing his lace.
But yeah, 2 fresh props now with a great opportunity. Left-hand side scrum, just on the 15-metre line. This is where you can really maybe get the 9 run in, because the opposition 9 can't chase around, obviously, with the new rules, but it gives you an extra little bit of space, an extra 5 metres of space to really attack, try and hold this back row in, to then try to create some space for their dangerous players in Ollie Woodburn and Paul Brown-Bampo, who I thought so far has had a brilliant game, one of the most complete games I've seen this year. Let's hope they can get him some ball in some space.
Attacking Exeter scrum, looking to respond to the powerful Sale start to this second half. That's a better scrum. In fact, they've won the penalty now. And Riddle and Rigg. Riddle backing over the ball. Varney goes the other way. That's interesting. Oh, and Vincent, he just had a stud or 2 in touch, but we were playing the penalty. It was against Simon McIntyre for hinging, bending at the hips.
Carbon copy of what they did in the first half, wasn't it, with Vincent dropping back to that blind side straight away, trying to catch those lazy Sale Sharks defenders. Say lazy doesn't do it justice. It's difficult to get up from a scrum and get back on side. It's obviously premeditated from Exeter, and it's worked well first half, but they were onto it that second time.
5 second half minutes gone. Exeter going for the 4th try,
Time off.
and the bonus point that will come as a result of that. Sale, meantime, making a change as well in response to Chiefs changing their front row. Will Griff John coming on. Oh, he doesn't look entirely sure that he's got the invitation, but here he comes. First run out of 2026 for Will Griff John, and he replaces James Harper on the tight head side, the right-hand side. Harper, another one, off to join the Red Bulls revolution over the summer.
Numbers.
Will Griff John, the strongest player I've ever played with, 300 kilo plus squatter, absolutely insane strength.
Fired into Zambanin by Yendall.
Down by Exeter.
Sale have done well to arrest that, but still problems. Taken on by the new man, Jimmy Roots. Hooper with Vincent looking interested. Will Rigg and Slade, should the backs be involved? Not looking likely at the moment. They go the other side to Roots, who has his 2nd touch in quick succession.
Varney's offside. 2.
Sale offside. Sounded like Nathan Jabulu. The Wallaby.
Playing advantage. 2
Tom
offside.
Hooper eager to involve himself. Instead, it's a little bit further wide to Rigg. Skinner sorting things out behind Zambanin, and oh, that's loose, and
2 offside.
But for the advantage, we would have had a race between Joe Carpenter and Paul Brown-Bampo. However,
Do you know what? It's very easy from up here, this aerial view that we've got, but so many times now you're seeing wingers with 30 metres of space. Joe Carpenter was Sale's last defender on the outside post. Paul Brown-Bampo stood there with a penalty advantage. Here we go. Oh, Skinner nearly went for it there, but he should have done that 30 seconds ago. So much space out there. Wide pitch here at Sandy Park.
Time's off.
Massive in goals as well, so you can almost aim for the try line. You know, you've got another 12 metres still to go.
Do you see stuff now you're retired up here that maybe you didn't see when you were on the pitch, or were you that brilliant that you saw it on the pitch anyway?
Definitely wasn't that brilliant. It's tough as a scrum half. You're trying to boss the forwards into an areas where when the forwards, if it gets over that 5 metre line, the forwards want to take over and pick and go, and they can do that so well. It's hard to almost see that space. It's easy when you're a commentator.
Zambanin snatches it down. It's running a little bit dangerously close to that far side touchline, so Yendall preserves the space. Slade on his toes. Vincent as well. Zambanin's not far away. David Jenkins drove it in. Sale once more, defending with their boots on the try line. Chiefs seeking a fourth and bonus point securing try. Vincent away quickly by Goodrick Clark.
Onside.
Roots.
Tackle, let it go.
That close. Behind Hooper to Skinner. Brown-Bampo. Oh, he was bamboozled by a ball that ended up evading everybody.
Kick dead for 22. 22.
Exactly what we talked about. This is the option, is absolutely on. Unfortunately, the execution of the kick, just one of those that when it doesn't fly end over end, the wind can do all sorts to the ball. As we know, a bouncing rugby ball, you can see it's almost spiralling. It's a nightmare for Paul Brown-Bampo. He'd be disappointed with himself, but Hardy's going to be very disappointed that if Sale have got away with one there.
Rafi's got one. And so everyone's got one now.
Sale readying themselves to give a Premiership debut to their loose head prop, the academy prop, Ralph McEachran. And Ollie Davis as well, another young academy player down there, ready to join us very shortly. Way through for Rigg, and in the end he had to give the ball up. And Bamba away, somehow finding Quirk, who finds Rob Dupree. It's a big in-goal area here at Sandy Park, but it's not that big. Because he kicked it out on the full, beyond the dead ball line, he will find himself with a scrum back from where he kicked it.
Yeah, it's not big enough. I think they missed a bit of an opportunity. It's turnover ball. It's brilliant D. It's an absolutely wonderful hit to create some unstructure, to create some transition, and unfortunately, Rob Dupree's execution of the kick, the decision-making, I think, is good. Try and find space, try and find grass, try and turn the Exeter Chiefs back three, but Exeter now having an amazing opportunity here to try and get that bonus point try, Nick.
There's Marius Lowe who's come off. Ollie Davis has gone to fly half. Rob Dupree has slotted back into midfield. Davis, 20-year-old academy player, introducing himself to the Prem for the first time this season. He's a Macclesfield lad. And Ralph McEachran as well, part of this Sale scrum now for Cy McIntyre.
Okay, so higher binds.
Well, there are people who keep these numbers in their heads, tragically, but the average number of scrums in the Gallagher PREM match is 13. This is now our 14.
Higher bind. Shoulders up. Let's go. Higher bind.
Really higher bind.
Yeah, shoulders up, please. Sale.
Last night was 4, is that right? What a game that was, by the way.
Worrying game for Saracens, who have Northampton at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next Saturday evening, a match you'll be able to enjoy with us. Going to all the big stadiums around the country next weekend: Cardiff, Villa Park, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
9-ish, tie head collapse.
Chiefs scrum suddenly working and suddenly winning penalties. So Slade with free ball and being hunted down hard by Riddle.
Tie head to me. Tie head to me.
But we remember not so long ago, Chiefs being pushed off their own ball to concede the try just after half-time. Since then, since the changes, since Goodrick, Clark and Roots have come on, it's turned itself around.
Not sure. Tie head to floor. It feels like we're going around before going forward. Okay, I didn't see it that way. I just see Griff on the floor. You just come left side every time. I'm trying to. Try to.
Well, some more UFC for us tonight. We are back at the O2 in London. Lorraine Murphy's showdown with Movsar Evloev amongst the attractions. 6 o'clock start on TNT Sports 1. And we got more from the Gallagher PREM tomorrow. Mattioli Woods, Welford Road. Leicester against Bristol. Currently 4th against 3rd, and before then we'll be jumping back into the PWR, the Women's Premiership, for Loughborough Lightning against the champions, Gloucester Hartpury. Delays because Jack Yendall is receiving some treatment. He's pushing his Exeter record today to 247 Premiership games. He'll be at 250 soon enough. How many did you play?
Prem games?
Prem games.
Couldn't tell you, Nick.
Yes, you could.
I couldn't tell you.
No.
We need to speak to Aid.
Aid will find out. Lord Aid of Statshire now on the case. Actually giving him some work to do for once. Jack Yendall, by the way, has played 325 Chiefs games in all. I've no idea how many games Ben Kay played in the Prem. I really should do. Ben might not know either, but anyway, he's down on the touchline.
No idea, Nick. But here we are back in this corner. Jack Yendall's obviously just had some treatment on that right knee, so he'll be slightly nervous about his power transfer through this. Lots of core. Zambanim comes forward, takes that well, a little bit high for the Chiefs. They just want to drop and get off that touchline. Yendall needs a bit of assistance there. Could have done with Varney going in and just helping him off the touchline. Really good defence from Sale, though. Again, if you go to the front with that forward movement, it's so much easier for the defence just to pile in behind you and drive you over the touchline as they've just done there. But now they've got to back it up. Big scrum. Well, it's going to be a line out on the line. Jibaloo's got to try and deliver a dart. They shortened down to a 3-man, 3+1. A nice, easy get out of jail card there for Dugdale at the front. Easy, easy let off.
Quirk has it, and he gives it to his captain, Fun Rain.
And use it.
What's your arm?
Reed did well to get under that, and brilliantly scooped up by Bamba. One-handed. Quirk bounces backwards, so Rob Dupree can give it some air, and this is Carpenter coming into the line, and O'Flaherty adding some pace, and O'Flaherty, as he so often did in the shirt of Exeter, finding a lot of space. Quirk chasing hard. The ball beats everybody in the end, but oh, how about that from Sale? Pretty much one end to the other.
Yeah, brilliant from Sale. Great ambition. Started with a Rafi Quirk box kick again. I think he's had a brilliant second half. And you look at here, Tom O'Flaherty, such a hard player to bring down, so elusive. I thought he maybe could have just used the hands to Rafi Quirk on the inside. Went for the kick, and those big dead balls are not quite big enough again for Sale Sharks.
288 Prem games for Danny Kay. 288.
How many tries? You must know your tries.
It wasn't 100. I wanted 100. I never got it. I wanted to beat Ashy. But 288 games. I played a different sport to Jack Yendall. I absolutely hold my hands up there. What he has done, where he's put his head, I wouldn't have been seen dead putting my head in the places where he's been. But so yeah, incredible record from Jack Yendall, Mr. Exeter Chiefs. What a player.
It really is. Ben Kay, by the way, 177. Danny Kerr, 85 Prem tries.
Far side.
Happy enough with that.
Far side. John.
I got 7.
Okay. Come across.
You did so much more than score tries, though, didn't you?
Defensive tries I scored, that's what I say.
Come on.
It's Yendall and Goodrick Clark and Jimmy Roots. Jimmy Roots, by the way, with the red cap on, he missed the Premiership Cup final with a horrible injury. Lacerated, I hope you're not having your tea, lacerated ear in the semi-final that needed 34 stitches, 10 inside the ear, 24 outside. It was hanging off, it was hanging by a thread. Anyway, sorry about that if you're having your egg and cress sandwiches or whatever. And Chiefs have absolutely turned this scrum around with those changes that they made when we were talking to Rob Baxter.
As I was saying earlier, Nick, different sport I played.
Hey, boys, hey, let's focus now. Next job, eh? Focus, next job. Next job.
Will Goodrick Clark has made a big impression. So too Jimmy Roots with both of his ears, thankfully. Power coming through Roots. Goodrick Clark, by the way, really enjoying himself this season. He's trimmed down a little bit as well. Looks very sharp.
Time off. Didn't have to run all the way over here to do that. Didn't have to run all the way over here to do that.
Just a little delay while Sam Dugdale gets himself patched up. Heading into the final quarter. Wouldn't want to say which way this is going. Felt for maybe the most significant slices of the match that Exeter have had this under their control. However, that early Sale try at the start of the second half, nothing since. And the locals in the sunshine watching and wondering, as I'm sure will be thousands and thousands of Sharks supporters back home right now.
Send them up.
Yeah, it's teetering on the edge, only 5 points in it.
There's a change in the front row. Nathan Jabulu replaced by Ethan Kane. Luke Cowan-Dickey, by the way, skipping a weekend in his old hometown. He's calling his Six Nations engine this weekend. The likes of George Ford, Tom Roebuck, Bevan Rod. I'm sure we will see them back against the champions Bath next weekend. Yendall again fires it into Zambanin. Skinner gives it some air to the fullback Woodburn, who was tied up quickly. Reed was there, and Rob Dupree in midfield now working hard over the ball. Slade. Zambanin picks up an untidy ball.
Use it. 9.
O'Flaherty chases. Hooper was there, making a right on nuisance of himself. In fact, forces the knock on.
See, all these small moments when the game's in the balance like this now suddenly adds up. It was 2 good defensive reads from Sale Sharks. Aaron Reed came up off his wing in that first sort of blitz line defence. Then they went back and they managed to marshal the midfield again. And all these small moments, they get the ball back. But in a game which looks like it's going to go to the wire, scrums, high balls, penalties at breakdown, they all have significant consequences going into this last quarter.
Alex Wills getting a few last-minute instructions from Alex Sanderson. Not been an easy time for Al Sanderson, digging deep into his well of positivity over the last couple of months, assuring us the wheels haven't fallen off, they just need to tighten up the nuts, and that's what we've seen today a little bit more of.
Yeah, especially in the second half, Nick, I think they've been really competitive. They've played in the right areas. Rafi Quirk's put the ball on the money. They've chased well, they've got it back. And with only a 5-point deficit, it's anybody's game, as Sam says.
Rigg took it in, picked up by Goodrick Clark. Pearson, Roots, and Woodburn a bit too sharp in the end. Riddle was on hand. Hooper takes on the shoulders of Kane. Into double figures phase-wise now, moving the ball away from the tackle. Exeter, more than they've done at any point in this match so far. It's not taken them far, however. Only halfway. Maybe Rigg, with his power, can create some extra meters. Vincent.
Tackle now, let it go! Use it.
It's a contestable kick. Brown Bampo once more. Carpenter got up very high, very close to catching, but not quite.
No advantage. Plays the ball back.
There's an awful lot of fuss there, about 10 metres worth of pitch.
It was a very good defensive set from Sale Sharks. Mike Forshaw will be very happy with that. Really aggressive off the line, looking like the Sale of old, when they used to really bully people by getting off that line. They pride themselves on physicality, and the Chiefs just couldn't get any go forward. There's Mike Forshaw in shot there. That was really good defence. And then it's a win, that's a defensive win. Then you go to the air, then it's up to the back three to win that ball.
Well, here come the changes. Gus Waugh and Alex Wills. And Rafi Quirk's day is done. Just adding his tuppence worth before he comes off. Can see that Sale are bringing on Josh Gilmore as well. Locked forward, 20-year-old. He's been busy in the Prem Cup. This will be a Prem debut for him. Waugh, who played for Scotland A last month. And well, the applause for Tom O'Flaherty. Plenty around here who remember all he did for the club. Part of the team that were Premiership champions in 2020.
There we go. Time on.
Bit more than 15 minutes to go.
Keep the tempo at box kicks, yeah. Crouch.
Sale have made 6 of their 8 available changes. Chiefs just the 2 so far. They've got a bit more up their sleeves should they be needed in what's left of this contest. Varney to Skinner, with Rigg wanting hard, but Skinner going the other way, and here's Brown Bampo, and you're tempted to think that might be the significant try of this afternoon. Lovely taxiing from Paul Brown Bampo. He knew where it was going to be busy, he knew where the business was, and he ends up with the try.
Yeah, another brilliant set-piece try from Exeter Chiefs. Harvey Skinner just pops off his left foot, goes back against the grain, feeds Varney in there for that second touch, and Paul Brown Bampo just running that support play. It's just great heads-up rugby. Brilliant try for Paul Brown Bampo, and you're not going to stop that man from there. That's their 7th bonus point this year in the Gallagher PREM. Try-scoring bonus point, sorry, in the Gallagher PREM this year. It could just take them just too far out of reach now.
That's 4 tries, and 3 of them are from first phase, aren't they? Definitely manufactured. I think Gus Waugh, his role is to get to that first receiver, so he wants to get to 10. So Skinner gets to Gus Waugh and just pops it back inside, so it's just basically Dugdale has to try and get for that inside ball for Varney, and Dugdale's just a little bit slow off that scrum. They do really well, just a wide pass to 10. So nicely picked off on the inside.
Pat on the back for Jack Yendall, replaced as hooker by Julian Heaven. And Heaven's first job is to sweep up a ball that needed sweeping up. Julian Heaven, Australian, who flew in from Sydney and the Waratahs this season, into the Prem for just the 3rd time. Joseph Dwebber unavailable today. Varney still with us and finds decent distance, but caught well by Carpenter, and Carpenter invites Bamba to do what he might do. War. Griff John.
Use it.
Keekren takes the tackle.
No.
War again, plenty of height. Riddle there first. Despite some of the best attentions of Alex Wills. Been starting and scoring regularly recently, Wills, including against Exeter in the Prem Cup. Carpenter. Maybe got there a little bit too early, but he caught it on the way down, happily enough. Fun rain. 12 points in it. A little more than 12 minutes to go. Wills doing well to make sure it was still Sale ball. War, Bamba.
Tackle, let it go!
Flicked away. Oof. Skinner was not far away. Henry Davis might have been worrying just a little bit about that. Meantime, Aaron Reid has found some space on this near side.
No.
War. Davis ships it on to Dupree. Taken by McEachran on his Premiership debut. Rob Dupree, Carpenter. And this is Wills. Sharks enjoying a lot of ball time, and bit by bit they're edging towards the 22. However, it's been won back by Tom Hooper, who, if he isn't on the Gallagher Player of the Match shortlist, I'll be very surprised. Who's doing that, by the way? Danny. Bit of lobbying, Danny. We'll find out who is on Danny's shortlist in about 5 minutes. Doug Dale, oh, it's been stolen away again by Rigg. Brown Bampo. Reid was on him quickly, but Brown Bampo found space and then found Vincent. He's held on to by Will Griff John. Chiefs player down injured. This is Heaven. Jenkins. It was Slade who was taking some treatment to his right arm. He doesn't look entirely comfortable, but he's needed here and he's lost the ball.
We're going to look at the Hooper turnover again. A couple of tied clear-outs from Sale Sharks. This was 10 phases into their attacking set. And they went really nicely from width to width. And Will Rigg comes off the line really well, gets in the passing lane. Doug Dale doesn't look at the threat that might be there, and he does really well. He's not too far beyond the ball where they can put it in behind him, just right in that passing lane. It's a really smart play from Will Rigg to get 2 turnovers. Don't get the final pass there for Slade. 2 nice pieces of play for Exeter.
Oh, this is Josh Gilmore coming on. 20-year-old for his Prem debut. On England under-20 caps last season. He's been catching the eye in the Prem Cup. So Josh Gilmore, Prem debut. Ralph McEachran, the Loosehead Prem debut. Seeing a little glimpse of Sharks' future here. Let's give you that shortlist sooner than advertised. Actually, Danny's still writing it down, I think, but we'll throw it at him anyway. Who's caught your eye, Danny?
You definitely lobbied well. Tom Hooper, without a doubt, is one of my player of the match contenders. Alongside Ross Vincent, 2 assists. Dan Dupree on the Sale side, I thought, has been a shining light. Multiple carries. I think he's over 16 carries currently. And then Paul Brown Bampo, I thought, finished his try incredibly well, but his work rate off the ball as well. So they are our Gallagher Player of the Match contenders.
Decent list. Who are you voting for, Sam?
I think my back row bias comes in. I think Hooper's been exceptional, but no pressure, Danny.
honest to goodness, lobbying.
Advantage,
Meantime,
offside, 17.
Dupree looking for something.
In the passing
A
channel.
little bit of extra special. Maybe former Chief Jacques Vermeulen might be able to provide the launch pad. Dupree lazily, beautifully to Ollie Davis. I think Sharks have got the advantage here. War flings it away.
Still playing advantage, Sale.
There's Dan Dupree, another one of the contenders. War had a little look, but Heaven closed him up.
Two options, penalty here or one over there. It's 18 off feet at the ruck. Gus.
Jimmy Roots is number 18.
My ball, get in. You hit my hand.
18 on your feet, when you counter.
Well, if things stay as they are, Sale will be 16 points off the playoffs. Actually 17 points if Exeter win this and go above Leicester and Bristol. So 17 points off the playoffs.
17 needs to...
with time running out. Leicester Bristol tomorrow. You'd never like to write Sale off in this Gallagher Prem. We've talked about their expertise at coming hard on the last couple of laps, but if they lose this, you would be tempted to. Now this is Will Goodrick-Clark, who came on as a replacement, and he is replaced by the man he replaced, Scott Sear.
Come over here. Sale, come up to the mark. Time is on. Mark is inside.
Kane's throw. Brought down by Gilmore. And then this is Raketi Ma'asi White.
On the body, not the ball.
Dugdale. Aaron Reid with his arm in the air, closest to us on this left-hand side in the shadows.
Roll away first.
Sharks penalty, they won't want to hang around.
Counter. Yeah, that was the first half. It's about 72 minutes now.
Now Rob Dupree trying to get this to within 5 metres. That's a brilliant kick. And he's given his line-out thrower, his line-out jumpers, and then his pushers the best opportunity here.
I am aware.
Yeah, give Sale a chance. I think if they're going to win this game, they need to score now. But as we all know, bonus points, you get that losing bonus point for finishing the game within 7 points. That could be so crucial when it comes to Champions Cup qualifying by the end of the season. Or obviously the dream for Sale is top 4, but Champions Cup places are up for grabs as well.
Jacques Vermeulen not part of that line-out, so we wonder if he might be involved as a hard-hitting runner. Maybe not, because he's joined the maul. Sale trying to keep it off the ground, but haven't managed to, so Dupree. And they will reset, 7 metres short. War's there. Finally, it's Vermeulen with his hands on the ball. Takes them to within 4 metres, tackled by Vincent. Carpenter looking eager. A little bit further to the left, but this might stay tight. Will Griff-John. No way through. Once again, ferocious Chiefs tackling. Julian Heaven there, closest. Ma'asi White offering the width. Dan Dupree knocked backwards. John.
Okay, I see.
Oh, and it's Vincent over the ball, but had to give that up. But it created enough of a confusion. What's on Anthony Woodthorpe's mind?
At the moment, I'm going to restart with a scrum. Scrum to you guys. I've stopped because that injury looks very serious. Yeah, of course, I have him low, so I don't have it in style play, but I'll wait and see if I'm told different. It's still going to be low.
Agree, Woody.
I agree.
It was low into contact.
Yeah, so it's just we got a low ball carrier, we got a low tackler, have we, Dean? Only just wait 1 second, just mocking this up. So low ball carrier, low tackler, yes.
Just checking, Woody.
That's fine, and then just make sure that you're happy that he's got arms.
Here comes Ruben Logan. Significant moment for him. First time in.
Simon, it'll be uncontested scrums. It'll be 15 on 15. That's what I've been told. Just clarify that you get told the same thing on the card. Yeah. And it'll be your scrum in the middle.
We've not had this confirmed, but I can only conclude from that, Sam, that James Harper, the tight head who started, must be injured, because he would be the obvious one to bring back.
Yeah, me and Danny are actually just looking at the point of the team sheet there and trying to figure it out. So when a player goes off, he must have been declared as coming off for an injury replacement, so he can't go back up, come away with something. And then Ollie Woodburn gets in to give the lead to Exeter.
Chiefs into the top 4 ahead of Bristol.
It's like an unstoppable force last night.
So we're saying Bath, Northampton, Bristol and Leicester ahead.
Yeah, it's almost a prerequisite, a must for these big clubs to get in that top 8.
Stay close.
Right, uncontested scrum, backhand on it, and Marcy White nearly forcing his way through. This is Van Rijn. What a try would do now with 5 minutes to go, after all we've spoken about over the last few minutes. Chiefs have won it back.
Big shot, Zambinin. They're going for the pick and go around that ruck. And I think it was Zambinin anyway. Tom Hooper's very happy about it, congratulating his pack, Jimmy Roots. But watch this pick and go. They come into on the other side. There's Zambinin in that guard position. He's nice and low. And he's the one who makes the shot. Gets brought up, held up by Dav Jenkins. Great defence.
Crouch, bind, set.
Chiefs protecting that 12-point lead. Once again, uncontested scrum, so off the base of it, Greg Fisselau can fire himself away.
Use it.
Varney hustled by Ward.
On the outside of the foot.
Varney in the circumstances did very well, DC.
That's a brilliant kick, absolutely brilliant kick. When you're under the pump a little bit, you've got some pressure on you to put your team 45 metres away from your own try line. Sail with the ball, but brilliant kick from Stephen Varney. Great carry from Fisselau, great clearance.
Kane to Gilmore. Oh, and it's intercepted, and Skinner, has he got the legs? Has he got the toe? Has he got the slide? Not quite. It went forwards.
Careful.
Well, that would have been game over. And he was brought short about 1.5 meters away.
He's done absolutely brilliant. We've seen this happen many times. Harvey Skinner's done this. And you think for all money he's in. I'm just looking down at the pitch to see where that pot of treacle is. But he suddenly just slows up. I've found it on this pitch many a time as well. But yeah, brilliant chase back from Rod Dupree. Saved a certain try, but yeah, unfortunate Harvey Skinner. Firstly, great read. Again, what Sam said earlier, the line speed that he showed, Sam.
He nearly had one of those going back 10 minutes ago. He's been coming off that line really hard, getting in that passing lane, wanting to turn Rob Dupree back inside to his inside defenders, but Rob Dupree goes for it. They're obviously chasing the scoreboards. You could be a little bit more risky in the defensive line now and try and get in that passing lane. It paid off for Skinner on that occasion.
War gives it everything. Riddle, the catch, and then the turn to become a threat immediately. Scott Seo, who's back with us. Skinner, Heaven. Slade. Skinner somehow managed to get the kick away. Bouncing ball gathered by Davis. He's looking lively. Vermeulen. Drive on from Dan Dupree, who's had a very good game. This is Davis. As the seagulls from the estuary circulate above us here at Sandy Park. Close to feeding time. Vermeulen, what he used to do so well for Chiefs in his days down here. Kane wanted it. Gets it. Held on to by David Jenkins. Dupree. Kane. Van Rijn was alongside. That's some great defensive work from Jimmy Roots. Davis. Dupree in midfield finds Carpenter on that edge of shadow and sunshine, and back into the shadow, but so much light, so much threat from the feet of Joe Carpenter. Dupree
Advantage.
thinking about losing bonus points perhaps. Champions Cup and top 6 and all that. And Sale have the penalty, but time running away. 90 seconds, a bit more left.
Never on.
Don't need to worry about converting the try, just scoring the try. That will bring them to within 7. So this feels like the moment if Sale are to make that long trip home with something worthwhile. And here comes Finn Worley-Brady. A day for Premiership debuts for very promising youngsters. Here's a 21-year-old, the Exeter University captain, on for Ross Vincent, reminding Chiefs what they've been missing from him in recent months. So here we go. Just over a minute to go. Oh, it was very nearly stolen. Zambanin was up there, and he's done enough. And all the brilliant work that he did in the Six Nations spilling into the Prem today.
Yeah, on my notes today, Nick, I wrote 4, 5, 6 for Exeter. I think if they have a good game, I think Exeter Chiefs will probably go a long way to winning this game. And all 3 of those, Daffy Jenkins, Zambin and Tom Hooper, have all been absolutely brilliant today, alongside others as well.
What a signing he has been. Not got time to do player of the match, I don't think. So we'll continue the tease. Fun rain. Davis, Dupree and Marcy White. Still time for Sale, but no time for any more errors. Carpenter. Taken on beyond the 10-metre line. Davis again keeps them going. Davis now at fly half. Dupree. Marcy White, he's been tackled. Ferocious, hungry Exeter defending. And that might be the moment that secures the win. That'll do. They could finish with one last hurrah. Maybe not. Maybe they'll finish with a knock-on. Job done. Chiefs with the bonus point win. They hoist themselves back into the Gallagher PREM's top 4. They are slap bang in the middle of the playoff debate. Sale, you're tempted to think that's that in terms of top 4.